Hi everyone, I'm Jim. Welcome to Mystery and Mayhem. I want to update you on what's been going on with me. Unfortunately, we have not got our renos done yet. We've kind of been waiting for them to come in and finish it up, and hopefully tomorrow morning they will come in, and they said in and out 2 more hours. They'll get the rest of it done and we can get our house back into order, and I can... I really haven't had the wherewithal to do videos with all this going on in our house and kind of a disruption. So hopefully by next week, I'll be back to regularly scheduled videos. I just wanted to let you know about that. And again, I apologize for so much time in between videos. I do have 2 obligations this month, and that is there's 2 reading events that I am co-host of, and that is DrNovember. Which this is my 3rd year doing this now. And that was created by Mark over at Book Time with Elvis, and Dinovember. And it's a new reading event created by Andreea over at Infinite Text. So I have been, even though I haven't put anything up for them yet, I have been reading stuff pertaining to those 2 reading events, and I want to share them with you right now. This week I read SSGB by Len Deighton. This is a fantastic novel. I've read a handful of Len Deighton's before. I have on my shelf, I've got Funeral in Berlin, the Game, Set, Match trilogy, a couple others, but this one probably is the best one of his I've read so far. This is a fantastic novel. I tore through it, and the premise is that Britain surrendered to the Nazis in 1941 in the Second World War, and Britain becomes occupied by the Nazis and the Germans. It starts out as a murder mystery. And the main character in here, his name is Douglas Archer. His nom de plume is Archer of the Yard, which he doesn't like. But he's a very smart man, very observant man. He's called, later in the book, the newspapers call him the Sherlock Holmes of the 40s. A great character. So it starts out with a murder mystery, and very soon, and there's lots of espionage and twists and turns going on in this book, and it's chilling. I mean, really, when you read some of it, it's very chilling what goes on in it, and it's very reminiscent of The Man in the High Castle and the Bernie Gunther novels by Philip Kerr. If you've never read them, Bernie Gunther was a private eye in fascist Germany before the Second World War. So there's a lot of parallels between those and what goes on in this story. But this just happens to take place in Britain. And there's scenes where, people get taken away in vans and they disappear. Others get taken away to detention centers. There's later on in the book, like thousands and thousands of people are arrested, and they get taken to places like Wembley Stadium and the Albert Hall, and all these people who are being detained for an incident that happened in the book. And he throws in all these well-known British places, these iconic places, and he uses them for nefarious Nazi purposes. So it's very chilling. There's revisionist history being taught in the schools. Just little points like that it's almost right out of the fascist handbook, and we see that going on elsewhere today. It's still, that kind of thing is going on. And but a great read. I love this book. I have another book that I picked up by Len Deighton that I might just carry on with for DrNovember, but we'll have to wait and see. There is a group read for DrNovember, and that is to read the Quiet American by Graham Greene. I don't think I'll be participating in the group read. That's not, I want to focus my channel on, vintage paperbacks, pulp stuff. Now you might say, but, Jim, Len Deighton's kind of a highbrow, but no, he's not highbrow or lowbrow. This is more of a midbrow book. But, I really want to focus my channel on doing mysteries and vintage paperbacks and pulp stuff and men's adventure kind of things. So I'm going to just kind of, pull back from doing the group read, but, if you guys want to get involved, please, by all means, read The Quiet American by Graham Greene. By all accounts, all my fellow co-hosts love the book. So yeah, I mean, give that a shot if you so choose. So for Dinovember, I went back to the OG, and I'm reading The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And I'm a huge fan of Arthur Conan Doyle. Anybody who watches my channel knows that, and I am really enjoying this so far. I mean, he's just he's one of my favorite writers. He just reiterates that he is one of my favorite writers, Arthur Conan Doyle, and I do love this so far. I'm not too far in, maybe not quite halfway, but well-drawn characters, exciting, just keeps you wanting to read. And when I finish this, I will let you know what I thought, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So that's that's what I've been reading for DrNovember and Dinovember, and we'll see who comes out ahead at the end of November regarding those two reading events. I do want to mention that last month I did read a Dresden Files book. I gave it another chance. I had read two before this, which I didn't get along with, and I said, okay, I want to give them another chance because people love these books. And I'm happy to say that he redeemed himself with this book, Jim Butcher. I really, really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun, kept me wanting to read, and I enjoyed it much more, so I'm going to buy some more of these. So that's a happy thing. Now I want to show you some books that I picked up, for a book haul. I thought I'd just include it here at the end of my update. I ordered these Mike Shane books. I made an offer, got them for $20 plus shipping. So I've got 7 awesome Mike Shane Mystery Magazine books. This is a cover that kind of drew me in because it was October and it was Halloween-y, and that's not a normal cover for the Mike Shane books. So yeah, that kind of drew me in. And there's some great stories in here, some really good authors. You got Cornell Woolrich, Ed Lacey, Richard Deming, Hal Elson, and of course the Brett Halliday, Mike Shane stories. So yeah, I was happy to get these, and I'm slowly building up my Mike Shane Mystery Magazine library. I've got maybe, about a dozen now, a little over a dozen. But I got a lot more to go if I want to collect all of them. Now, Mysterious Bookshop, every month they put out a list of books for sale. Now, initially I got on this email list because they had a whole bunch of Sherlock Holmes stuff that came in. Ephemera, the original stories, pastiche, books about Arthur Conan Doyle and about Sherlock Holmes. So I got on the email list. And I've been picking stuff up here and there from Mysterious Bookshop. But now they're selling stuff besides Sherlock Holmes. And I picked this up. First Cases, The Private Eyes, edited by Robert J. Randisi. Now this is, I've wanted the paperback of this for a long time. This is an advanced reading copy, obviously. And it has the first cases of many well-known private eyes in this book. So I was happy to get it. And it's just kind of cool having the advanced reading copy. But it's got the first cases of the Nameless Detective, Dan Fortune, Matt Scudder, Ms. Tree by Max Allan Collins. So I'm very happy to have that, and that's just to add to my PI collection. As you know, I've got an ongoing project where I read hardboiled private eye mystery stories, and that's very happy to get that one. And I got a Sherlock Holmes mystery magazine. Now, they had quite a few of them for sale when they sent me the email, and I didn't jump on them quick enough because somebody else got a whole bunch of them, but there was this one that was left that I guess they already have, so they didn't order it, so I did manage to get this one. And it's got a reprints of Sherlock Holmes story, and it's got other mystery stories and some neat artwork and stuff, so I'm going to keep my eye out for more of these. That's kind of cool. And Mysterious Bookshop, I love dealing with them, and I love giving them my business, and that there's always some interesting stuff on that email list. Now I've got some books that gone on a book haul that I wanted to share with everyone since I've got you here. I picked this one up at a thrift store, Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. Now, I saw somebody review this. I can't remember if it was Brian Lee Durfee or it might have been Tim from Secret Fire Books, but they said this is a very brutal, dark fantasy. And I've been kind of in the mood to read some fantasy again lately. So I picked up a few fantasy books, and this one looks very intriguing, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Another fantasy, this is a blend of a PI novel and a fantasy, believe it or not, called The Sword-Edged Blonde. And I couldn't resist. I had to pick this up. And it says, the blurb says, incorporating elements from both hard-boiled mystery and heroic fantasy. Bledsoe's genre-blending first novel is both stylish and self-assured. Raymond Chandler meets Raymond E. Feist. So the question is, will it go on my PI shelf or my fantasy shelf? We'll have to wait and see. But that looked very cool. And then I have a PI novel by Stephen Humphrey Bogart. Now, this is Humphrey Bogart's son, obviously, and apparently he wrote a couple of PI novels. And everything I've read about them, I've heard that they're pretty good, that they're very well done. And this is called Play It Again. And I think the other one was called As Time Goes By. I think he only wrote the two. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out for the other one. But I was very, very happy to find that one and add it to my collection. And I will read it and see what I think. I'm sure it's going to be very good, but that's a cool cover too. And I got another Len Dayton novel, An Expensive Place to Die. And I might just follow this one up for my next read for DrNovember. Since I enjoyed that SSGB so much, I might just follow it up with this one. Now, I got a couple, I avoided reading Rex Stout for years and years. My mom was a huge fan of Rex Stout and the Nero Wolfe novels, and I never, I was more into the hard-boiled stuff, and this to me just seemed like it was more of a cozy kind of mystery, so I kind of avoided them. But now, later in my life, I'm trying to pick them up and read them as much as I can. So this one is 3 Witnesses, and this one has 3 novellas in it. The Next Witness, When a Man Murders and Die Like a Dog. And, a lot of them, the ones with 3 in the title usually had 3 novellas in them. That's one. And I got this one here, which I was very happy to get, called The Black Mountain. Now, initially I saw this at the thrift store for $7, and on principle, I didn't get it then because, $7 seems a little steep, to buy a paperback at a thrift store. But I came home and I Googled it and I realized that this is kind of a rarity. This is one where Nero Wolfe actually leaves his brownstone and he travels overseas to Montenegro for certain reasons. There's the back cover. So I realized that it was probably one I should have got. So I went back to the store, gritted my teeth, and I paid the $7 for it. It kind of goes against my grain to pay $7 at a thrift store for a paperback book. But I am glad I went back for it, and I'm looking forward to reading that. Next one I have, Knights of the Blood. This is kind of a time travel story. And he's a Los Angeles police detective, and there's a case where he ends up going down a path through time. He ends up in 1972 and back to World War II and then back to the Crusades. So that sounds very interesting, very intriguing, and it's got that kind of cool foil effect on the cover. Anybody who's ever read this or knows about this, let me know if it's any good down in the comments. I'd be curious to hear if you've read this. So that's it. I just needed to update you since I haven't done one for like 8 days. And as I said, next week, that should change. I should start getting back to regular videos. But there you go. There's an update. There's a little bit of a book haul. And I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're enjoying your November so far. That's it for now. I will talk to you soon. You guys take care and keep reading.